Hi guys and welcome to Bomb Anime.
It's your girl Ruka.
And Big Boy Summer here. We're bringing you our part 2 on the hot or not of The Saint's Power is Omnipotent.
I actually thought that it was quite funny watching an isekai where everybody knows that the MC is actually from another world and they just talk about it like it's general knowledge. It's not common to see that because usually the person is sort of keeping a secret and not telling anyone, or they're only telling selective people.
Yeah, there was a bit of transparency in that situation, and it was a weird take on it. I don't think it added to the story or anything, but it was just like, as you said, it was nice to see.
I think it did add to the story because it allowed me to realize that Sei isekai'd her way into a Western society because they didn't know about seasonings.
Moving swiftly on, which is normally your line. Wow. Facts though. But okay, so I take back my statement. Yeah, it did definitely add to the story, and it made the story a lot better. It added a bit of flavour to the story. I like it.
Stop. You're just misbehaving now.
Me? So I really want to talk about the way that Sei was OP from the start. Now, obviously, there was a lot of background stuff happening where Sir Director was, along with Hawk, going around to the king, reporting the situation. Even Dwarves was reporting the situation. And the king had a very good grasp as to what was going on in his kingdom. It's not a very common thing in these sort of themed isekai, non-isekai period time pieces, Dungeons and Dragons-y stuff. Like, normally the king is either a buffoon or evil or slightly inadequate. But here, the king was the king, and he showed his leadership, and he utilized his ability to research what Sei could do without having to put his hand in it too tough, which I thought was really nuanced in the situation.
I have to agree with you on that one, but on the flip side of that, with Johan, I really didn't appreciate the way he was running back and forwards to the king and not telling Sei anything whilst pretending to be Sei's friend. Now, yes, you can say that he was really a friend and he really did care about her because he obviously did, but at the same time, how can you have a real friendship when one person is telling someone else everything about you and all the things that you do, but not letting you know that they're doing that? It just doesn't sit right with me, and I know that it's the king, but you couldn't tell Sei anything. You couldn't tell her that she was being monitored to see if she was really the saint or not. That wouldn't have actually done anything to her one way or the other, but telling her at least would be an honest and open way to do this instead of sneaking around behind her back.
I agree with you to the sense that, yeah, it did show a different facet to the friendship dynamic that they were trying to portray. However, it did add to the story for me, especially allowing Sei to figure it out herself. Because it kind of like, this is an anime where the main character was a woman who wasn't just stupid. Do you get what I mean? And I know it sounds bad, but you know what I mean. That animes tend to make their female characters a lot lesser than their male counterparts. Now, in this show, it was very even-footed in the sense that she didn't come with airhead vibes. She came with knowledge, she came with curiosity, she came and did the damage, bro. She was sick. So, yes, it did show a bad light on the friendship dynamic, but it did add to the story, and I was here for it. I really want to move on to one of the more interesting characters that I found personally, which was Prince Ko. I thought he was actually really well written because I feel like the author wanted us to hate him, especially in that episode that was mostly about Ira. They told us what the reason why he was the way he was, and they kept alluding to the fact that he was awkward and stubborn, and even the king was like, that's my boy really, innit? So I thought that the way that they flipped the script on us was a stroke of genius in this anime, and again kept the story alive.
I actually think that they only wanted us to hate him in the very beginning. From the moment that they did that Ira episode, I think that they were trying to change our perception of him. It was very obvious almost straight away that the way that he was acting was to protect Ira because he realized that she actually wasn't the saint. But just coming out and saying that could have had damaging impacts for him politically, for her. It could have just messed a lot of things up. And by taking the full blame, it takes it away from the king as well. But at the same time, I think that he was a bit dumb because had he just apologized straight away, I feel like he could have avoided a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think that his way of doing things was necessarily the best way. I think it was just extra steps for no reason.
I agree with you on the extra steps, and I do agree with you that it was dumb. But I do like the fact that he did it because it showed how young and inexperienced he was. Again, adding to the nuance of the story. We got a full spectrum here. We didn't just get, here's the MC. This is about the MC. We got the whole political landscape of the show in this season, and that just added to it for me. I thought that it was a brilliant piece of storytelling, that instance.
I wouldn't go as far as say brilliant piece of storytelling, but I do think that it was good. I enjoyed the fact that he didn't mind everyone hating him. You know, when it comes to like royalty or the upper echelon of anything, someone's going to be hated. He decided to take that on to himself and have a particular facade, which is smart politically, because had he shown his actual real personality, he would get eaten alive. So it's actually good that he's behaved this way, and also he knows how to let the right people know about him because his fiance, what was her name again? I can't even remember.
Lady Ashley. Liz Ashley, yeah.
Right. She knows him very well.
Very well.
And so does his dad, and also the subordinates around the dad. So that means that his actual succession won't have any issues in terms of like the people around him. But everybody else will be like, oh, okay, we shouldn't F with this guy because he ain't afraid to be about it.
Yeah. He comes drawing swords and gats and stuff.
But speaking about Ira, I actually thought that it was very interesting the way they brought her into it, because we had Sei, who was just, oh, I'm in a new world, who cares, yay, awesome. We had the other side of it where Ira was distraught. She was remembering the people that she left behind. She wanted to go back. She was basically depressed that she couldn't go back to her own life, and I feel like that's way more realistic. If you were really isekai'd away, you would be thinking about the people that you left behind. I mean, I wouldn't be thinking about that many people, but there are definitely a bunch of people that I would just want to get back to. I would not want to be in another world without the people that are around me.
Oh, cheers, Roots. Thank you.
You weren't one of them.
Are you serious?
Okay, you can be included.
No, get out of here, fam. No. I thought we were friends.
Okay, I'll put you in there.
No. I can't wait to go to another world without you then. Screw you, fam. But yeah, Ira's story I thought was a really interesting one as well. Look, everything Ruka said, perfect. I think that was bang on.
Even the shaking when she realized she had to go into battle, her hands wouldn't stop shaking.
Yeah, she was,
you know.
Bruv, I think you mentioned when we did the first episode that it was written by a woman. I'm not sure who the author is. I will check that out and probably leave it in the comment. It did seem very feminine as a show, and not feminine through the guise of masculinity, i.e. cutesy wootsy whatever, but feminine in the sense of realism, where this is how a well-written female character would probably think, and a well-written, strong female character will probably think. That's the kind of vibes I got from it. And Ira's story, I thought, was very poignant to a lot of people, especially the people I know. A young lady who is always told what to wear, how to be, where to be, and then Prince Kyle pushing the thumb on that to keep, obviously, his political prowess, but also to look after her. Again, there were so many nuances here and there that the story was always engaging for me, because there was always a little facet that I didn't realize that they were going to touch upon. And that whole dynamic between her and Prince Kyle, her and Liz, and then eventually her and Sei, I thought showed really great growth and progression.
Okay, yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but I want to talk about a grievance.
Okay, what's your grievance?
If Sei is from the modern world, why is she embarrassed about showing her her bare feet as if it's some kind of aspect to her. It's your feet, okay?
Have you never been on TikTok?
Like, I don't even know what to say about it. Her feet weren't even out. Her feet were in a damn bucket, and she was like, "Oh my god! Like, he saw my feet. Like, what the heck is this? What the heck is it?"
Guys, can you please educate Ruka about how powerful feet are nowadays?
And also, in a world of magic, why did the magic seem so subpar? Like, there's no ice magicians. People can't sort out a couple of ice cubes. No one can do a couple of ice cubes apart from Albert. It's hard to do some ice cubes. And also, like, they don't know about putting medicinal herbs in cooking. It's medicinal herbs. Wouldn't they even use it in teas and stuff like that? Like, what is going on? Like, you wouldn't have even tried to put medicinal herbs in anything else. It just seems a little bit crazy. And there's no one apart from like one person who can do magic appraisal.
Okay, so remember in Overlord how Ainz was saying that in Yggdrasil, the game, everyone was OP, but when he came into this new world, everyone was lesser than, because when they died for real, as opposed to in the game, when they died, they got respawned. I feel like she got transported right before the revolution of magic, like their version of the Industrial Revolution to magic, and she's literally gonna help them push that along, because she's got that intellectual curiosity that only her and Dwarves seems to have, and maybe Sir Director. Everyone else seems to be happy dappy living their lives and not giving a toss. Oh, and that old granny that does the alchemy, she's in there as well.
No!
What do you mean?
They can't get an ice cube together, they can't do appraisal magic, but they can summon people from another world.
One person.
Are you correct? They summoned two on this occasion.
Yeah, one person
and they've
can
been
do it.
and they've been summoning for time. Okay, so you can do that high level magic.
Yeah, but it's
to summon someone that is powerful enough to be an actual saint, but you can't make an ice cube.
Okay, look.
Really? You can't make an ice cube?
One person can summon. One person can make ice cube. Do you get what I mean? Like,
this is trash.
Alright, we're gonna agree to disagree on this one. I'm not saying it's trash, I'm just saying it's not there yet, and you're saying it's trash. Fair enough. You're not wrong. But now go, man.
I feel like Liz was also a really underdeveloped character, because for what she was in the show, I feel like she could have been used so much more. She was just sort of there to talk to Say, and then to get completely embarrassed by Kyle. And I know that he was doing it for all these political reasons and whatever else, but he completely humiliated her in front of everyone. Like, how dare you? And then after everything, you can't even say, do you know what, I'm sorry? Like, you basically used her as someone to basically take care of the person who you brought here by mistake. Embarrass her in front of everyone. She's supposed to be like high society, engaged to the damn prince. No one is going to have any respect for her if the prince is talking to her any kind of way in public. Do you know how damaging that is? He gave her no face whatsoever.
I agree with you, but I look at it at a different point of view. Yes, the emotional aspect was there. I thought he dealt with that completely wrong, because I know that if I'm in a relationship and I embarrass my partner in the middle of anything, or in the middle of people or whatever, I'm dead. It's as simple as that. I'm dead. I'll be dead. That's it. However, what I'm saying is simple. She could have been a spy or something. Like, it could have been underhanded. It could have been more than what it was. It seemed too on the face. Like, I wanted her to become friends with Say because she wanted to gain more political power herself. I wanted her to become friends with Ira because she wanted to gain more political power herself as well. Like, I wanted it to not just be, I'm trying to make friends here. Because let's be honest, Liz, you've got friends.
No, I like that she wanted to be friends with them, but I also understand what you're saying, because it's a problem that I had while watching the show. It's almost as if there wasn't enough conflict.
Yeah. And
I feel like at points it did let the anime down because there wasn't enough conflict. Like, for instance, we were watching it and we saw when Say went to that Lord's domain, and we thought something was going to happen because there was like little sly things that were happening. But then it turned out they just wanted to see if she was powerful enough to reinvigorate their fields. There was no underhanded things going on. Even the conflict that we had with the monsters was very few and far between that we even saw them. The beasts were hardly there. And when we did see them, there wasn't very much movement. It wasn't about that. This is basically a romance anime. But even with a romance, there should be something antagonistic about it where there's something to resolve.
Yeah.
But there wasn't really anything to resolve.
Yeah, and I feel like it also messed with the pacing issues because there was no conflict.
Yes.
So there was no contrasting sections.
Yeah.
They totally were for the story. And yeah, don't get me wrong, they did a really nice complex story, which was romantic and whatever. But there's only so much you can be engaging with good story that has no conflict. Like Ruka said, it needed that pepper for the sauce, didn't it? It needed seasoning. A little bit of spice, a Scotch bonnet or two.
All right, so I want to talk about my favorite character. It has to be Yuri. Oh my gosh, Yuri is hilarious. He's always there at the right time, and not just at the right time, but he's there with the right people.
Yep.
He shirks his duties.
Yep.
Like, he's shameless. He's completely obsessed with magic.
Bruv, it's yeah.
Like, at times you were saying like, oh, does he like say it? No, he just wants her magic. Like, he just wants to see her doing her magic. Like, he's completely obsessed with it. And you actually said he reminds you of
He's so cool.
So Yuri is my fave. He is definitely my fave.
Okay, I want to talk about the elephant in the room. The Saints' power for Saints conjuring. What kind of cop-out was that? Like, no, on the level, what a cop-out. I bet they couldn't use the power of friendship in it. They tried to, and they couldn't. So, the Saints' power is love. Get out of here, fam. That was ridiculous, and I hated that. It was the only thing I can say about this anime fully that I completely detested. Detested. Because look at the situations when she used it. First of all, I love this place. I love it. And then magic
No,
happened.
she said she wanted to do something to help them because so many people had done something for her.
My eyes
It
are
makes
rolling back
sense
so
because
hard.
it made sense because she really didn't like the world that she came from, and this one was just more her pace. I feel like when you take it for what it actually is, once you realize that this is just a romance anime, and when you put it in the context of those cheesy romance movies, you know, your leg bends at the knee when you kiss for the first time, there's fireworks in the background. It had all of those cheesy aspects apart from the leg going up. All those ridiculously cheesy aspects that don't happen in real life. You know, just get over it kind of thing,
Okay.
you know?
No, fam. No. I'm here to give my critique about an anime that was actually not bad. Look, if it was a cheesy film, it would be probably one of the best cheesy films there was. It wasn't bad. However, to cop out and have omnipotence be equated to love, that really peed me off. Because look, it took her ages to cast the damn thing. It took someone having to hold her hand in order for it to go super OP. Like, I get that, and that's a great mechanic, but love being the answer, you didn't even define what love was. You just started giving us nonsense about how her heart beats. She looked at every man and said they were gorgeous, but obviously she liked him, I get it. But love, like, you only know the guy for like 2 months. Get out of here, fam, get out. Nah, no. Just no, fam, no.
So, is it hot?
Is it hot or not?
Yeah.
It's a hot for me.
So after all of
It's
that,
not fun. Look, yeah, it's not perfect, but I did enjoy the watch. If there's a season 2, I'm down.
I usually avoid romance movies. They're not really my speed. Don't really like them too much. This did have a slight pacing issue at times, but it was an enjoyable watch, and I think overall they did a good job. It's a romance anime, you know. I would say it's a hot.
Well, hey, we agree.
So we will both say that it's a hot. It's not like a massive, I don't think I liked it as much as you did, because you really seem to be calling it brilliant and you've got all these high praises.
I'll be honest, I liked it.
Mine is more like mid.
I really like this one. I just thought, this is why it hurt me so much, where the power to say is love. I just thought, oh, come on, get off it.
I mean, why not?
What? Why? Why?
So guys,
No,
have you watched
but
this
why
one?
though? But why?
Have you watched this one and what do you think?
Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. And please tell me why love is the answer, please.
Because love conquers all.
You know-
Peace!